San Francisco is a commercial, financial, and cultural center of Northern California. With a population of 827,526 residents as of 2024, San Francisco proper is the fourth most populous city in the U.S. state of California and the 17th most populous in the United States. Among U.S. cities proper with over 300,000 residents, San Francisco is ranked second by population density, first by per capita income, and sixth by aggregate income as of 2023. Depending on how its borders are defined, the broader San Francisco metropolitan area or San Francisco Bay Area is home to 4.6 to 9.2 million residents as of 2023, making it the 13th to 5th most populous urban region in the country. Prior to European settlement, the modern city proper was inhabited by the Yelamu Ohlone. On June 29, 1776, settlers from New Spain established the Presidio of San Francisco at the Golden Gate, and the Mission San Francisco de Asís a few miles away, both named for Francis of Assisi. The California gold rush of 1849 brought rapid growth, making it the largest city on the West Coast at the time. In 1856, San Francisco became a consolidated city-county. After three-quarters of the city was destroyed by the 1906 earthquake and fire, it was quickly rebuilt, hosting the Panama, Pacific International Exposition 9 years later. In World War II, it was a major port of embarkation for naval service members shipping out to the Pacific Theater. After the war, the confluence of returning servicemen, significant immigration, liberalizing attitudes, the rise of the beatnik and hippie countercultures, the sexual revolution, opposition to U.S. involvement in the Vietnam War, and other factors led to the Summer of Love and the gay rights movement, cementing San Francisco as a center of liberal activism. San Francisco and the surrounding San Francisco Bay Area are a global center of economic activity and the arts and sciences, spurred by leading universities, high-tech, healthcare, finance, insurance, real estate, and professional services sectors. As of 2020, the metropolitan area, with 4.5 million residents, ranked fifth by GDP, $874 billion, and second by GDP per capita, $131,082, across the OECD countries. In 2023, San Francisco proper had a GDP of $263.1 billion and a GDP per capita of $325,000. The city is home to numerous companies, many in the technology sector including Salesforce, Uber, Airbnb, OpenAI, Levi's, Gap, Dropbox, and Lyft. In 2022, San Francisco had more than 1.7 million international visitors and approximately 20 million domestic ones. It is known for its steep rolling hills and eclectic mix of architecture across varied neighborhoods, its Chinatown and Mission districts, mild climate, and landmarks including the Golden Gate Bridge, cable cars, and Alcatraz. The city is home to educational and cultural institutions such as the University of California, San Francisco, the University of San Francisco, San Francisco State University, the San Francisco Conservatory of Music, the Legion of Honor Museum, the De Young Museum, the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art, the San Francisco Symphony, the San Francisco Ballet, the San Francisco Opera, the SFIES Center, and the California Academy of Sciences. Two major league sports teams, the San Francisco Giants and the Golden State Warriors, play their home games within San Francisco. San Francisco International Airport, San Francisco Airport, is one of the world's busiest airports, while a light rail and bus network, in tandem with the BART and Caltrain systems, connects nearly every part of San Francisco with the wider region. San Francisco County, Northern California, U.S., located on a peninsula between the Pacific Ocean and San Francisco Bay. It is a cultural and financial center of the western United States and one of the country's most cosmopolitan cities. San Francisco is a major financial, cultural, and technology hub on the northern end of the San Francisco Peninsula in California. Known for its mild climate, iconic landmarks, and liberal counterculture movements, it is a dense, diverse city that draws millions of visitors annually. A major economic engine, the city is a centerpiece of the Bay Area economy, which, in 2022, was the fastest growing regional economy in the United States. Center for Technology and Innovation, San Francisco is a global hub for technology startups and venture capital, with venture funding in 2023 exceeding that of any other market in the world. The city is also considered the AI capital of the world, being home to over 20% of the United States AI job postings. Uneven recovery, despite its strong economic performance, the city faces challenges from post-pandemic trends, including decreased in-person office attendance. This has led to high office vacancy rates and concerns about downtown's business activity. Early settlement, for thousands of years, the area was inhabited by the Yelamu, a group of the Ohlone-speaking people. The first European visitors were the Spanish in 1769, who founded a mission and a presidio in 1776. Gold rush boom, renamed San Francisco in 1847, the city transformed into a booming metropolis following the discovery of gold in 1848, attracting a large influx of immigrants from around the world. 1906 earthquake and fire, the city was largely destroyed by a massive earthquake and subsequent fire on April 18, 1906. San Francisco was quickly and determinedly rebuilt, hosting the Panama Pacific International Exposition just 9 years later. Cultural movements, San Francisco became a center for the 1950s Beat generation and the 1960s hippie counterculture, including the Summer of Love in 1967. It was also at the forefront of the LGBTQ+ rights movement. World War II, the city served as a major port of embarkation for the Pacific Theater during World War II. Diverse population, influenced by its Spanish, Mexican, and Chinese heritage, San Francisco boasts a diverse and open culture. Progressive politics, the city has long had a reputation for progressive politics and social change activism. Arts and entertainment, the city hosts numerous arts and cultural events, from performances by the San Francisco Symphony to art exhibitions at the Asian Art Museum. Culinary scene, the area's diverse food scene is celebrated at events like celebrating World Food Day at the Mechanics Institute. Notable landmarks and attractions. Golden Gate Bridge, an iconic landmark and one of the world's most recognized bridges. Alcatraz Island, a former high-security prison in the bay. Fisherman's Wharf and Pier 39, popular waterfront areas with restaurants, shops, and attractions. Lombard Street, famous for its steep, winding hairpin turns. Chinatown, a historic and vibrant neighborhood and the largest Chinese settlement outside of Asia. Golden Gate Park, a vast urban park that is home to several museums and attractions. Cable cars, the historic public transportation system is a quintessential San Francisco experience. Mediterranean climate, the city features mild, wet winters and dry summers. Famous fog, fog is a frequent presence, especially during the summer, and can cause significant temperature variations across different neighborhoods. It is recommended to wear layers. San Francisco holds a secure place in the United States' romantic dream of itself, a cool, elegant, handsome, worldly seaport whose steep streets offer breathtaking views of one of the world's greatest bays. According to the dream, San Franciscans are sophisticates whose lives hold full measures of such civilized pleasures as music, art, and good food. Their children are to be pitied, for, as the wife of publishing magnate Nelson Doubleday once said, they will probably grow up thinking all cities are so wonderful. To San Franciscans, their city is a magical place, almost an island, saved by its location and history from the sprawl and monotony that afflicts so much of urban California. Since World War II, however, San Francisco has had to face the stark realities of urban life, congestion, air and water pollution, violence and vandalism, and the general decay of the inner city. San Francisco's makeup has been changing as families, mainly white and middle class, have moved to its suburbs, leaving the city to a population that, viewed statistically, tends to be older and to have fewer married people. Now more than 1 of every 2 San Franciscans is non-white, in this case African American, East Asian, Filipino, Samoan, Vietnamese, Latin American, or Native American. Their dreams increasingly demand a realization that has little to do with the romantic dream of San Francisco. But both the dreams and the realities are important, for they are interwoven in the fabric of the city that might be called paradox by the Bay. Although San Franciscans complain of the congestion, homelessness, and high cost of living that plague the city and talk endlessly of the good old days, the majority still think of San Francisco the way poet George Sterling did, as the cool gray city of love, one of America's most attractive, colorful, and distinctive places to live. The Gold Rush, 1848–49, established San Francisco as the premier city of the West, known from the Oregon border to the Pueblo of Los Angeles simply as the city. It is still a great port, the financial and administrative capital of the West, and a substantial center for commerce and manufacturing. San Francisco is well known for its connection to the technology industry. Some San Franciscans commute to nearby Silicon Valley, a region just south of the Bay that is the heart of the nation's technology industry, to work, but the city itself is home to a number of smaller technology companies and start UPS. Another large portion of the city's employed work in the area of finance. Other leading areas of employment include business services, personnel supply, building maintenance, security, computers and data processing, and advertising, retail trade, the tourist and convention industry, and professional services. Many companies, such as Levi Strauss & Co., producer of one of San Francisco's most famous products, blue jeans, have located their national headquarters in the Bay Area. From its beginnings as a port of call in the high Dantalo trade and, later, as the home port of the Pacific whale fishery, San Francisco has been acutely conscious of the importance of shipping. In the 19th century, ships stopped there from their trip around Cape Horn or the Isthmus of Panama, and steamer day was a civic institution. After 1914, cargo and passenger vessels arrived from the east by way of the Panama Canal. In 1867, the Pacific Mail Steamship Company opened the first trans-Pacific service, sailing from San Francisco to Yokohama, Japan, and Hong Kong. Imports and exports now passing through the San Francisco Customs District make the combined ports of San Francisco Bay, San Francisco, Oakland, Alameda, Sacramento, and Stockton one of the most active international ports in the country. Manufacturing is the main source of income in the Bay Area. In San Francisco, in which manufacturing is a lesser source of income, the principal industries are apparel and other textile products, food processing, and shipbuilding, while the aerospace and electronics industries are strong in the cities of the peninsula. Tourism is a major source of income. The bridges, Coy Tower, the museums, the restaurants, Chinatown, North Beach, the Victorian mansions, Crooked Lombard Street, and the dazzling Fairmont Hotel are major attractions. Fisherman's Wharf, however, is the most popular. Families browse the area, watching fishermen prepare the crab catch and mend their nets amid dozens of souvenir shops, street entertainers, restaurants, and bakeries selling one of the city's specialties, sourdough bread. Getting to Fisherman's Wharf on the Powell Hyde Street cable car is a popular route. San Francisco's waterfront offers whale-watching excursions, provides a boat tour from the wharf to Alcatraz Island, and is home to Ghirardelli Square, the one-time chocolate factory whose shops are famous for their hot fudge ice cream sundaes. The Cannery, built for the California Fruit Canners Association, now Del Monte Corporation, in 1907, and now a marketplace, Pier 39, reconstructed using timbers from old ships to create a New England look, home to shops and eateries and one of the best seal watching spots on the coast, the Ferry Building, a ferry terminal on the Embarcadero that also houses a food hall and a farmer's market, and the Anchorage, which has a mini amphitheater. Nearby is the Marina District, formerly known as Harborview when its natural amphitheater was the scene of the 1915 Panama Pacific International Exposition. Finance. A financial center since the first pinch of gold dust was exchanged for cash, San Francisco is the seat of the Pacific Stock Exchange as well as the headquarters of many banks and other financial services companies, among them Wells Fargo. Though there are no native, independent banks headquartered in San Francisco, the city still ranks among the nation's largest investment banking centers. Transportation. Periodic smog, produced mainly by the automobiles in the area, is a serious concern. Freeway traffic is also a problem, as travel from the East Bay cities of Oakland and Berkeley and from Marin County to the north is confined to two great but overburdened bridges. The world's longest high-level steel bridge, the San Francisco, Oakland Bay Bridge, is 4.5 miles, 7.2 kilometers, long. It was completed in 1936 and consists of two back-to-back suspension bridges, a connecting tunnel on Yerba Buena Island, 5 truss spans, and a cantilever span. The orange-red Golden Gate Bridge, leading north to Marin County, was completed in 1937. It is a pure suspension bridge with a 4,200-foot, 1,280-meter, center span. The spectacular clear span was the longest in the world until 1964 when New York City's Verrazano Narrows Bridge opened. At its highest point the bridge is about 260 feet, 80 meters, above the bay. Until the ferries were doomed by the bridges, San Francisco was served by a great network of ferry routes, whose splendid vessels were said to deliver more passengers to the ferry building at the foot of Market Street than arrived at any other transportation depot except Charing Cross Railway Station in London. Only after the bridges began to choke with traffic did the ferries return, on a smaller scale, between San Francisco and Marin County. A much greater undertaking was the interurban rapid transit system known as BART, Bay Area Rapid Transit, which began operating in 1972. With service between San Francisco and surrounding communities through an underwater tube more than 3.6 miles, 5.8 kilometers, long, BART was the first system of its sort part subway and part elevated to be built in half a century. These comfortable, computerized automatic trains run at speeds as high as 80 miles, 130 kilometers, per hour. San Francisco, situated at the head of a peninsula, has always been a dead end for rail traffic. Beginning with the arrival of the first westbound train over the tracks of the Central Pacific on September 6, 1869, transcontinental trains began discharging their passengers in Oakland, where ferries or buses carried them to San Francisco. As in the rest of the country, the railroad's importance as a passenger carrier declined after World War II. The instantly recognizable symbol of San Francisco is the beloved cable car. Invented by Andrew Halliday, because he felt sorry for the dray horses that were often injured on the steep hills, the system was tested in 1873 and soon adopted by other cities. By the 1880s, cities such as Chicago, Kansas City, Missouri, and Los Angeles had variations of Halliday's creation. The other cities eventually abandoned cable cars, but San Francisco has stubbornly clung to the picturesque if archaic, and sometimes dangerous, means of negotiating the hills. Rudyard Kipling was awed by the concept. I gave up asking questions about their mechanism. If it pleases Providence to make a car run up and down a slit in the ground for many miles, and if for 2 pence halfpenny I can ride in that car, why should I seek reasons for that miracle? Before the 1906 earthquake 600 cars covered 110 miles, 177 kilometers, of the city, but the system was devastated by the quake and much of it was not restored. Today more than 24 cars operate at peak hours, carrying about 15,000 people daily to limited destinations via 3 lines. San Francisco International Airport is located about 7 miles, 11 kilometers, south of the city-county limits, occupying a filled site on the southwestern shore of the bay. Since 1934 San Francisco's principal source of water has been the Hetch Hetchy Reservoir, 167 miles, 269 kilometers, away, in the Sierra Nevada. Other sources are the Calaveras and San Antonio reservoirs in Alameda and Santa Clara counties and reservoirs in San Mateo County to the south. The Hetch Hetchy project required the damming of a scenic valley in Yosemite National Park and the construction of tunnels, 125 miles, 40 kilometers, long, through the Coast Range. In 1902 the first high-voltage line transmitting hydroelectric power was completed between a powerhouse on the Mokelumne River and San Francisco, some 180 miles, 290 kilometers, in length. Since then, the Bay Area has developed a network of hydroelectric plants on the rivers of the interior, as well as a steam-powered plant on Monterey Bay. Education. The Bay Area is one of the country's centers of higher learning. Although strictly speaking they cannot be counted as San Francisco institutions, two of the region's universities, the University of California, located across the bay in Berkeley, campus opened 1873, and Stanford University, opened 1891, neighbor to Palo Alto down the peninsula, are among the nation's most prestigious schools. Within San Francisco itself are the University of San Francisco, originally a Jesuit academy established in 1855, and San Francisco State University, which was founded as a normal school in 1899, became a four-year college in 1935, and achieved university status in 1972. Other institutions include Golden Gate University, 1853, the City College of San Francisco, 1935, a two-year public college, and the San Francisco Art Institute, 1871. A great part of San Francisco's appeal has been its well-established image as a cultural center. By 1880 it boasted one of the largest opera houses in the country, the largest hotel, a public park, great churches and synagogues, and a skyline bristling with the mansions of millionaires. Drama and music flourished there, with appearances by such luminaries as Sarah Bernhardt, Edwin Booth, Louisa Tetrazzini, James O'Neill, Lily Langtry, and Lotta Crabtree. Isadora Duncan, in fact, began teaching modern dance in San Francisco. The city's true artistic calling, however, has been as a mecca for writers. One of the first was Mark Twain, who arrived in time for the great silver boom that came some 10 years after the gold boom faded. Other noted writers were Ambrose Bierce, who came to the city after horrendous experiences in the American Civil War, Jack London, Bret Harte, Frank Norris, Gertrude Atherton, and Robert Louis Stevenson, who lived in great poverty in a boarding house. Later came Dashiell Hammett, Stuart Edward White, Kathleen Norris, Erskine Caldwell, William Saroyan, and Wallace Stegner. During the mid-1950s, San Francisco became known as a center of the beat movement, and poet Lawrence Ferling Hetty's City Lights bookstore, which was the country's first to sell paperbacks, became one of the movement's best-known gathering places. More recent Bay Area authors are Amy Tan, Herbert Gold, Anne Lamott, Ethan Cannon, Danielle Steele, and Dave Eggers. San Francisco is home to two major musical institutions. The San Francisco Symphony performs in the Louise M. Davies Symphony Hall and gives pop concerts in the summer. The San Francisco Opera stages an early season to allow its leading singers to fulfill their commitments at New York City's Metropolitan Opera. With the exception of American Conservatory Theater, ACT, a resident repertory group, the professional theater is virtually non-existent in the city. The surviving downtown theaters are largely occupied by the touring casts of successful Broadway shows. San Franciscans believe their city is a haven for the artist. While this would hold true for those who value architecture and public sculpture, the painting collections do not rival those of Los Angeles or the East Coast. Notable, however, are the jades and porcelains in the Asian Museum, the Rodin sculptures at the California Palace of the Legion of Honor, the Downtown Museum of Modern Art, and the many treasures in such small museums as the Fire Department Pioneer Memorial Museum. While San Francisco's artistic community does not approach the prominence of its writing establishment, it has produced such notable figures as Wayne Thiebaud and Richard Diebenkorn. Several cultural institutions were constructed after the 1906 earthquake, among them the Civic Center, a lovely square sparkling with fountains surrounded by such Renaissance Revival-style buildings as City Hall, the Public Library, and the Civic Auditorium. Publisher M.H. de Young helped fund the building of the de Young Museum, now under the aegis of Fine Arts Museums of San Francisco, as is the Legion of Honor, in Golden Gate Park, and Adolphe and Alma de Bretteville Spreckels sponsored the stately California Palace of the Legion of Honor, which overlooks the Golden Gate Bridge. A spectacular reminder of the 1915 Panama Pacific International Exposition is found in the monumental Palace of Fine Arts, located in a little park near the waterfront in the Marina District. Housing the Exploratorium, a science museum, the palace is a giant neoclassical rotunda, which was designed by the architect Bernard Maybeck and completely restored in the 1960s. The Walt Disney Family Museum, celebrating the life and work of the animation pioneer, producer, and showman, was opened in 2009 in the Presidio. Popular culture. A vital part of San Francisco culture is found in its restaurants, bars, and hotels. To this must be added the popular culture of the ethnic enclaves Chinatown, the Italian community of North Beach, Japantown, the Russian colony along Clement Street, and the Hispanic Mission District. San Francisco's first top-flight professional sports team was the football 49ers, who began play in 1946. The team became one of the most successful in National Football League history, winning 5 Super Bowl titles. San Francisco became, along with Los Angeles, one of the first 2 West Coast cities to be home to a Major League Baseball franchise when the Giants relocated to San Francisco from New York City in 1958. San Francisco was home to the Golden State Warriors of the National Basketball Association from 1962 until 1971, when the team relocated across the bay to Oakland. The franchise returned to San Francisco in 2019. In the minds of many, however, San Francisco's most memorable contribution to the nation's culture is its past. It was in the late 1960s that the city's Haight-Ashbury district became a haven for the flower children and hippies who declared themselves in headlong flight from the established society and who preached the saving graces of peace, love, and hallucinogens. However, by the 1970s Haight-Ashbury had become an ugly and dangerous marketplace for drugs and vice. More recently, with the rise in real estate prices all over the city, a gentrification took place in the district, and Haight-Ashbury now boasts a middle-class population and specialty boutiques, upscale restaurants, used bookstores, and the ubiquitous coffee houses. Thank you for watching this video.